Hello and welcome to another Game Nexus arcade video. Today we're going to be taking another look at Virtua Fighter 5 version B, released in 2006 on the Sega Lindbergh Yellow arcade hardware. Now, in this gameplay I play as Pai Chan, and what you'll be seeing today is one of my earlier gameplay, plays of this game. And as opposed to the other video where I go through Route A, in this one I actually go through Route C. So you're actually going to see a few different characters in this and stages that you didn't see in the other video. And I can honestly say, at the time of making this video, I really have no idea what dictates what actual route the game chooses when you're actually going to play the game. Because what had happened when I first played this, it always did Route C, no matter what. And then after I played for a while, it just shifted to Route A, which there was nothing I really did to prompt it to do that. And never went to any other route after that. And I've played all different characters, like I played Eileen, I played El Blaze, and it kept doing basically what you're going to be seeing here. And now here's your first difference here. Now we're going to be Brad Burns, and you'll hear what he says here.
Presenting the Brad Show. Fight one.
For some reason, Sega figured in this game, he's gonna be like totally full of himself and like have a big ego. I guess he kinda had a little bit of that in Virtua Fighter 4, but really not all that much compared to here, because he says all kinds of stuff like that, like something to the extent of one time it was like, they're only coming here because of me, or something like that. So he really has like the overinflated ego in this game, whereas in the other one it was just, oh well, he's Brad Burns, and he said some things, but they weren't as like over the top. And as I said, in my other video, it goes without saying, this game is just amazing to look at. And later in this video, you'll be seeing that city stage that I'd briefly mentioned in the quote from one of the developers.
I won't go easy on you. Fight one. Ready?
And now here's another one of those stages where you'll see that effect where you walk around the snow and the snow gets displaced. And not only that, but when you get bounced down in the snow and when you kick, the snow actually gets kicked up, which is really cool. That's like kind of like an extra effect. Whereas if you recall in some earlier games where there's snow, it was kind of cool that you left footprints, but you didn't have as many particles as you do in this game. Which is another thing you'll see in the later stage with the rain. The same thing happens with the wet floor. And this was one of those gameplays that I'd done. I was like, I might as well give this a try as Pai Chan, and I never thought I'd do all that well. And then here is Aoi in her usual shrine stage, which I believe she's had a shrine-ish stage since at least Virtua Fighter 3. And this game really makes the shrine stage look really nice, as you can see, like all the trees and everything, and everything just looks top-notch in all these stages. And you can even see the water moving in the background if you look like in the corner of the screen there. It's a very subtle effect, but the water just moves a little bit in this stage, which is really cool. And that's one thing you always have to watch out for in any of these Virtua Fighter games. Never think that you're doing like really, really well, or the AI will find some way to defeat you when you're thinking, yeah, there's no way that I could be defeated here, but, you know, the big thing I always say in any fighting game is, when you're playing a fighting game, you have to think about what button combinations you're going to do them, then the character does them, but the AI doesn't have to do that. It just throws moves at you because it doesn't actually have to like physically press buttons. The AI just goes, okay, have Akira do that crazy fist thing where he punches you really hard and you fly up in the air, and it just does it. And I'd imagine in some games the AI thinks, well, what is the character going to do, so let's counter that. And now here's that stage I was telling you about with the rain.
Let's see if you can walk the walk. Fight one.
And now you'll see all the water in the ground, and as the fighters fight, you'll see when any of the characters do a sweep or a kick, water gets thrown up, and then there's like particles that'll actually get thrown up with the foot. And when you get thrown on the ground, you'll splash in the puddle as well, which is another really nice effect. It really, as they had said in that one interview I was quoting, they said they noticed all like the rain and the small particles of water look just like they would in real life, which kind of goes without saying. That's what this game was really trying to do, and that's what Sega always did in their 3D fighting games. And now in this gameplay, I actually only lose once, and I'll actually tell you right now that's to Akira, but I figured it happened so quick I just left it in because I didn't see a reason to edit it out. And then, of course, the Stage 6, as I'd mentioned in the last video, Sarah Bryant instead of Lau.
You'll enjoy this, trust me. Ready?
Fight one.
And the cool thing, I know when I was playing as Sarah one time, is she actually has a lot of, kind of a lot of beginning match quotes. So, like, that's not the only one. I remember one time I was doing this route as Eileen, because this was one of my, like, really early gameplays, and she kept beating me and beating me and beating me. And I heard, like, just about every one of them. I think there's at least, like, 4 or 5 of them that she says. And that goes for just about any character, which is another nice little feature of this game. It doesn't, like, feel old. Like, one thing I think is the dumbest thing I've seen in any fighting game, I remember this in Mortal Kombat 9, which was aptly named just Mortal Kombat. You'd have a mirror match with, like, Sub-Zero, and let's say, like, the one Sub-Zero would go, "It's time to chill," or something. Then the other Sub-Zero would say the exact same beginning phrase, and I thought to myself, they don't have more than one? And it just seemed kind of cheap, and this game kind of, like, even though this came way before that, fixes that kind of problem where the characters just seem like they have, like, panned things they keep saying all the time, so you won't have, like, you lose and then you continue and the character says the same thing over again. It doesn't feel like they're kind of a broken record. You get that that whole sense of, well, this is just a fighter who's actually about to fight you. And of course the character's just gonna say their phrase. And as you can see, those are the two things that are the same in Route A and Route C. El Blaze and Akira are always 1 and 6.
Fight one. Ready?
And of course, bonus stage is always, 1 and 7. And of course, bonus stage is always Doral. Because it's 6 stages in this, and then final stage. And then, of course, bonus stage is Doral. But one thing I noticed when I was actually watching this gameplay at one point, the one thing to note is that your time does not go up when you're fighting Doral. But another thing I noticed this time, which I hadn't noticed before, was your score doesn't go up either. So, even if you beat Doral really nicely, you won't get any increased score from it. Which is kind of weird when you think about it. But I guess they figure it's just a bonus stage. And there's Pai Chan's continue dialogue.
Fight one. Ready?
And if you want to know, if you continue with Eileen, she just kind of does this weird pose, and then it goes Ikoyo, and then El Blaze does another weird pose, and then he just for some reason says I'm all set, which I thought was kind of weird. Was he not all set before? That's why he lost. But yeah, it always is kind of cool to see what the characters say when you continue, because a lot of times if you let the timer go down a lot, the character will like be begging you to continue, and then they'll be really happy. Like, one of the ones I will make an example of here is Takarashi in Virtua Fighter 5 Final Showdown. He'll be like really whining and crying because he lost and he didn't really want to lose. And then when you actually press start to continue, he'll be really happy. Like, he's happy to be given this chance to now fight again. Which I thought that was kind of a cool thing they did with him there. Whereas some of the other characters from this game and Final Showdown do a similar thing, but he's like the most extreme case I could think of in that case. And as you can see in the first match versus Akira Yuki there, he just kind of like totally owned me, so then I just do another round and I did pretty well. I just wanted you to kind of hear that like weird breathing noise that Doral makes in this game that makes me think of Alpha 152. And in this round, she does a throw that Tina in Dead or Alive does a lot, like right here. That throw Tina does all the time in Dead or Alive, and I know when I saw it, I just imagined like in Dead or Alive 2 Ultimate, where Tina in the intro throws the character at the elephant like that. Because I just imagine hearing the throw and then the elephant making a loud noise. But unfortunately, in this gameplay, regardless of how well I had done for the general gameplay, didn't really have a chance against Doral because Doral is just really hard in this game, and as I had mentioned in the other video, if I ever end up beating Doral, as I said, whenever I'm playing this game, I'm going to be capturing it, just to be sure, because, you know, anything could happen at any moment. If it's one of those, like, really weird things, like if you're fighting against an enemy and you get double KO'd, meaning you and the enemy both hit each other at the exact same time and get KO'd, you know, those things are things that you could never, like, actively do again at any time, so it's kind of cool to be able to capture it, and then if one of those weird things does happen, you can take back the footage and be like, hey, look what happened, this is so weird. But that's what I figured I would do with this game. So if I ever do defeat Doral, regardless of what character it's with, I'll probably make that video another arcade video for this game, or any other Virtua Fighter game other than, well, any Virtua Fighter game, because as I had said, the only one that I really beat Doral like more than once was 3, which was as Sarah and Pai Chan the first times I tried, and then I just kind of lost all the other times. And you'll see the only character I took any major time with was Akira and Sarah, because I lost the first round and then beat the second. As you can see, it says Route 3 there. I mean Route C. Well, excellent game, highly recommend it, and this has been another Game Nexus arcade video, and I will see you later. Bye.